In holistic education, taking recourse in the cosmos is the most significant response to the serious crisis humanity is now facing, and perennial human spiritual values, the dualism and fragmentation are completely overcome, and the self and all else in existence come together and awaken consciousness to its true nature. It is within this context that universal love, unconditional triumph, brotherhood, peace, and compassion bloom. The essential meaning of the cosmos can only be understood through direct experience. The goal of holistic education is best encapsulated by the term ultimacy. He defined ultimacy as one of the highest state of being that a human can aspire to, either as a stage of development, enlightenment, as a moment of life that is the greatest but only rarely experienced by anyone, or as a phase of life that is common in the population, but usually rare in any particular individual's life. For example, Maslow's peak experience, the concern or engagement that is the greatest that a person can aspire to. For example, being in service to something sacred. These two meanings can overlap or intertwine. Ultimacy, also called enlightenment or union with cosmic harmony, is a common theme throughout the holistic literature. It is the highest potential of the student who is involved in a holistic educational process. Forbes promotes the theme of ultimacy, and through his research, provides enlightenment as to the philosophical coherence of what distinguishes holistic education from mainstream approaches to education. The notions of ultimacy lead holistic educators to their views of human nature and meaningful living. Holistic educators claim their view of original goodness stands in opposition to that of original sin, and that different views concerning the need or lack of need to control and shape children necessarily follow. Holistic educators feel they have a different view of development, which holds that people will naturally go towards the good, and that progress consists largely of unfolding, uncovering, or discovering what is natural or inherent in the child. The primary purpose of education is to nourish the inherent possibilities of human development. Schools must be places that facilitate the whole development of all learners. Each learner is unique, inherently creative, with individual needs and abilities. This means welcoming personal differences and fostering in each student a sense of tolerance, respect, and appreciation for human diversity. Each individual is inherently creative, has unique physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual needs and abilities, and possesses an unlimited capacity to learn. Education is a matter of experience, and learning is primarily experimental. Learning is an active, multisensory engagement between an individual and the world, a mutual contact which empowers the learner and reveals the rich meaningfulness of the world. Experience is dynamic and ever-growing. The goal of education must be to nurture natural, healthy growth through experience, and not to present a limited, fragmented, predigested curriculum as the path to knowledge and wisdom. The concept of a wholeness should be at the core of the educational process. Wholeness implies that each academic discipline provides merely a different perspective on the rich, complex, integrated phenomenon of life. Holistic education celebrates and makes constructive use of evolving, alternate views of reality, and multiple ways of knowing. It is not only the intellectual and vocational aspects of human development that need guidance and nurturance, but also the physical, social, moral, aesthetic, creative, and, in a non-sectarian sense, spiritual aspects. Many of today's educators have become caught in the trappings of competitive professionalism, tightly controlled credentials and certification, jargon and special techniques, and a professional aloofness from the spiritual, moral, and emotional issues inevitably involved in the process of human growth. Educators ought to be facilitators of learning, which is an organic, natural process, and not a product that can be turned out on demand. Teachers require the autonomy to design and implement learning environments that are appropriate to the needs of their particular students. Students and parents should have opportunities for real choice at every stage of the learning process. Genuine education can only take place in an atmosphere of freedom. Freedom of inquiry, of expression, and of personal growth are all required. In general, students should be allowed authentic choices in their learning. They should have a significant voice in determining curriculum and disciplinary procedures, according to their ability to assume such responsibility. Education must spring organically from a profound reverence for life in all its forms and nurture a relationship between humans and the natural world. We must rekindle a relationship between the human and the natural world that is nurturing, not exploitive. This is at the very core of our vision for the 21st century. The planet Earth is a vastly complex, but fundamentally unitary living system, an oasis of life in the dark void of space. Holistic educators believe that all people are spiritual beings in human form who express their individuality through their talents, abilities, intuition, and intelligence. Just as the individual develops physically, emotionally, and intellectually, each person also develops spiritually. Spiritual experience and development manifest as a deep connection to self and others, a sense of meaning and purpose in daily life, an experience of the wholeness and interdependence of life, a respite from the frenetic activity, pressure, and over-stimulation of contemporary life, the fullness of creative experience, and a profound respect for the numinous mystery of life. John Miller frames holistic education within a transformation of education. The core motto of holistic education is to seek transformation, that is, to seek the continuing growth of the individual and society. John Miller synthesizes holistic education as an approach that encompasses three main principles. 1. Connection entails integrating school subjects, establishing connections with the community, fostering students' relationship with the earth, and encouraging students to connect to their souls, their deeper sense of selves. 2. Inclusion refers to including students of diverse races and abilities, and providing a range of educational approaches to attend the differences in learning styles. And 3. Balance means reaching for equilibrium between complementary energies, individual learning and group learning, analytic thinking and intuitive thinking, content and process, and learning and assessment. Holistic education is an approach to pedagogy that can meet the needs of all types of learners, that can be a source of fulfillment and gratification for teachers, and that repairs future citizens who will contribute a concern and mindfulness for others, for their communities, and for the planet. It is compatible with both global education and environmental education, which are also based on the principles of interdependence and connectedness. Based on this interdependent perspective, holistic education seeks to create a society where we live in harmony with the surrounding environment. It rejects consumerism as the dominant mode of being in modern society. Instead, it seeks an education that is rooted in the fundamental realities of nature and existence. Holistic education seeks to connect the part with the whole. We have tended in education to forget the larger vision of wholeness and connectedness, and holistic education calls on us to restore that vision. Such a vision, of course, is a primary goal of education for sustainability. Overall, we can describe holistic education as containing the following broad characteristics. 1. That nurtures the development of the whole person. 2. That revolves around relationships. 3. That is concerned with life experiences instead of with basic skills. 4. It recognizes that cultures are created by people and can be changed by people, instead of conforming and replicating our established culture. And 5. It is founded upon a deep reverence for life and for the unknown and never fully knowable source of life.
As a rule of desired behaviors, each of us secretly judges one another with or with outward opinions. We evaluate behaviors and we estimate what we feel is acceptable and unacceptable around us. We determine what is normal by what we feel should or shouldn't be done. We feel obligation, attraction and repulsion from things that we place judgments on, and we determine what is normal by those feelings. What is normal to us is much more specific than our values. For example, it is normal to expect a person to kill in war, but not in corporal punishment, euthanasia, and self-defense. This is because it is specifically indicated in a war that people die, where there are no indications pointed out in the others. There are estimated rules of what is normal in these situations though. What we think of as normal usually derives from what we think is valuable to us. Basic concepts concerning morality, economics, etiquette, and what we have achieved along the way. Normal is usually attached to our ideas of what is right and wrong, good and bad. These ideas though are not the same, if they are compared to what is appropriate or inappropriate. Right and wrong, good and bad, carries more strength and value to our society than what a person's etiquette does. It is normal as evaluate what a politician should do, but it is a custom to expect a politician to do something in a certain way. This is the same in every situation that occurs in our society, no matter what the circumstances or situations are. Is it wise to give unlimited power to certain individuals to present pardons? Plenary powers to organizations, groups, corporations and individuals that protect federal crimes that have been committed? Crimes that have been covered up repeatedly before charges were brought against the criminals? Since Watergate, pardons have been given out more. And it is not a wonder why public opinion is so bad when it concerns the government. President Ford pardoned Nixon, and he contributed to the Nazi Party during World War II. Ronald Reagan pardoned everyone involved with the Iran-Contra affair.